The worst places, man. Hey, shout out to everybody listening right now. Welcome back to the Secret House Against the World.
Hey.
Album reviews, conversation, things of this nature. I'm here today with my main man, Jet. Peace.
Yo.
And today we want to give a shout out to Bennett M, who commented on the Seafood Sam review that he would like us to review the new Alchemist EP that dropped about, I want to say it's almost like 3 weeks, a month old now.
Okay.
Dropped initially on his website. It's called This Thing of Ours, and a few tracks trickled out. Yeah.
Great title. It's a movie, right? Like a crime movie? It's like a mob movie from
I just thought it was
2000s.
a good title. I don't know.
It is a good
that?
title. It is
Yeah?
a good title, but it's like a gangster movie or something.
Okay.
Not a film I've seen, but
Okay. Well, I mean, shout out to that.
yeah.
Shout out to that.
What?
You know, speaking of which, that last Sky Zoo joint that we reviewed, the song
Yep.
is also the title. Bed-Size Burning is also the title of a book as well.
Well, like beds are burning is like an expression.
Oh,
or like
okay.
a biblical thing.
Look at
I
that.
don't remember exactly. But beds are burning is a thing. So beds.
Look at that. See how everything touches turtles all the way down. Turtles all the way down. But yeah, so we connected on Tuesday evening after Jet got off of work to give you guys a little bit of a quick review on this. And those beats you hear in the background are by my guy Buddha Monk, who is one of the more prolific beat makers. There was Nujabes as the figurehead in Tokyo beat scene, and then there's Buddha Monk. And the reason Buddha Monk gets that kind of acclaim is because he was there in Los Angeles with the likes of DiBiase and that whole upwelling of the beat scene in the early generation of it. When he came back to Japan, he brought that same energy, and now I think that he's one of the main reasons that you can see maybe before Corona times, but you used to be able to go to a beat show with somebody rocking a 404 any weekend here in Tokyo, and he's still that guy. Shout out to him. Shout out to Jazzy Sport. This album is called Clouded. All his beats. But back to this EP, man. Let's give some general thoughts on it, and then let's go do a track by track breakdown of what we think.
It's fucking fire.
It is.
It's very, very good.
I remember when I saw I'm in like some subreddit. I don't think it was the Hip Hop Heads subreddit, but they were like, yo, Alchemist posted a picture of the album cover and he had all these people tagged in it. And so people were like, yo, is he doing a full album with Earl? Why is Mike's name tagged? And so I got excited. I was like, well, Earl on Alchemist beats is always a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It's a very natural combination at this point.
As we heard on the Haram album,
Yeah.
you know, people were just hitting me up yesterday like, yo, like for some reason this is my favorite song on the album now, the joint with Earl.
Okay.
I forget I forget the name of it, but yeah, Fruit Fallen, I forget.
I'll pull it up.
But yeah, but that joint, and so I was excited, and I've been a growing. My fandom of Earl has skyrocketed over the last few years.
Falling out the sky.
What fruits? I was thinking of stone fruit at the end, right?
Yeah.
Falling out the sky. But my fandom for Earl has skyrocketed over the years because I just like this progression of his rap style. It's become very poetic and like non-linear in a way that it's much different than Tell Heron, I'll put my fist up after I get my dick sucked type of shit. You know what I mean? It's very different. And he's on 2 of these tracks. So 50% of the album.
And the first and last track as well.
Right.
Not just like randomly placed. There's definitely intention behind having him opening and closing the record.
Yeah. And actually all of the features on this album are people who I rock with and who I appreciate, except for track number 2 with Boldy James and Sideshow, I think is the name of the other cat.
I was not familiar with either of them. I really, really liked Boldy James's verse on this one. Definitely someone I'm going to check out as a consequence of this record.
Check it out.
But yeah, I didn't know
The Price of Tea in China is an album he did with Alchemist, and it's my favorite work from him. So yeah, I mean, they've got Sideshow on this, Boldy James, Pink Seafood, Maxo, not to be confused with Maxo Cream, which is an entirely different vibe, but and also Navy Blue. So you know, all of these people are people who I rock with and I thoroughly enjoy. Maxo is a person who needs to drop a new album. His last album was like 2019. and he actually had did some work with the homie. Do you know Flat Stanley? He'd be out here sometimes.
Only by name.
That's
I've
the homie.
heard the name before, but I don't know.
Flat Stanley, he's a beat maker, and he also does custom SP404s. Check out my article that I wrote about him, but he's a beat maker and just super dope. But he did a track with Maxo and put me on a Maxo a few years ago.
Okay.
And Maxo's dope. They're all in this same similar lane of these kind of deconstructed boom bap beats with the minimal production type of single sample loop, no drums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like off kilter sample, like
Yeah,
off
yeah.
time sample loops. And this is, and to be fair, I think that maybe we could say that Alchemist is maybe one of the godfathers of that.
Sure.
Like him and
Yeah.
Rock.
Yeah.
I remember like Murder Music in '99. He's got the Mobb Deep album. He's got The Realist with Cool G Rap and Mobb Deep,
Right.
which is basically a single sample loop with like very minimal
Not
drums.
A lot of production
no
going
drums.
on, like, yeah.
So again, he does it again. Like Alchemist cannot miss for me. My man was nominated for a Grammy, so he's just ill, man. I
In
love
case
this
you're
album.
wondering why L Spade isn't here, there's a lot of loops and very little drums.
Oh yeah. Well, he's recording, but these are the type
He's
of
also
joints I
busy, and
I don't think that this is his lane, and I'm hoping that we can push him further left and to start enjoying these things. But he's a man of the South, you know what I mean? So he likes those trap drums.
He's a man of the people.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Shout out to our guy DJ L Spade, who's absent from us right now. Let's go into the tracks. Let's talk about the tracks a little bit, man. The first one, Nobles, Earl, sweatshirt, navy blue.
Favorite of the album.
It starts off with that never-ending story sample.
Yeah, not a film I've seen actually.
Really?
I didn't know where the sample was from. But one thing that really struck me about this one compared to on the last record we reviewed, the Conway. The Conway has that sample from Usual Suspects, like the devil. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing people he didn't exist. And that's like such an obvious like vocal sample that conveys like a very, very obvious like kind of intellectual point you're trying to make.
Street rap
Like,
guys love that shit.
You might as well like be sampling like Tyler Durden in Fight Club.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
it is very much that.
So like I don't know, it's kind of like fun. Like a lot of the sample choices on this one like did it for me. In terms of like the little vocal interludes and skits.
They got the Sopranos joint on there that works really well. What is it? The Sopranos joint is like "Soldiers Don't Go to Hell," which is really dope, and I'm surprised I haven't heard that elsewhere because,
this is cool.
Rap guys are soldiers.
Sounds good, and rap dudes like that
Street guys
stuff.
are soldiers. Yeah, but no, that was a really dope sample pool. And when I heard that, like my first impression is like, oh, here goes some more like open wound, sad boy rap from Navy Blue and Earl, because Earl has been. I think it's clear and it's safe to say my man has been going through a lot of depression and grief over his last few years of his life. And also Navy Blue, who I love and I like, a lot of times Navy Blue raps like he's not rapping his piece book, like his lyric book. He raps like he's rapping his diary. And a lot of times it's just like, I was sad, and not to mention that my mother is a Seminole Indian, and I'm also sad about, the life I'm living in. And it's like dope, but it's also kind of like somber. He's a very somber MC. But both of them came kind of with the exuberance.
Nice, yeah.
The back and forth shit was dope. I feel like I should pull up lyrics because it was dope. But like, what's the bar from Navy? That's life, black plight, can't get along, not alone. Fucking bars. And it's just a fun back and forth track, that flip flop style that they approach on it. Like it's rare to see that where it's like some lock shit. You know what I mean? Like not bar for bar, but they were going like sentence for sentence at points.
The production gives them so much space to breathe over the track, and they're like going. The way they go back and forth on it, it's like. You really, really get a feel for these two distinctive personalities, but at the same time, the beats across the whole record set the scene so nicely, and it's kind of hard to describe the mood that the album sets.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the records we've reviewed previously is very like, you listen to this on a sunny day, you listen to this on a rainy day. Like, I listened to this like walking home on like a sunny Tuesday afternoon.
I actually the middle tracks I didn't listen to at all up until yesterday.
What?
I was just stuck on the first two. I didn't
know about this record until.
Did you see the video?
I did not see the video. I mean,
it's lovely.
I think I had it running in the background. I'd heard Nobles, but I just had it running in the background.
The video is lovely because like there's old footage of Earl and Navy Blue skating when they're little kids.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like they look like Navy Blue must be younger than Earl because Navy Blue looked like he was fucking 11, 12 years old.
Right on.
You know, around like a 15-year-old Earl. It was dope, man. It's an uplifting track.
Okay.
And it's surprising to come from both of them, to be honest with you.
Sure. Yeah.
That's how I thought. And so it starts off the album in a wonderful way. Wonderful. I love that shit.
Great track. Really, really great track. That will definitely be on my like end of year playlist.
It ends with the Sun Ra
the
with
vocal
the Sun Ra, like I don't know where that's from. Probably Space is the Place or some shit.
It's really
but it was dope. And then TV Dinners is number 2 by Bodhi James and Sideshow. Sideshow, who I didn't know before this track, or maybe I did know him, but I just didn't pay attention.
I'd seen again, like this was like I've never listened to any of his records. I'm aware of him. I've heard some of his stuff.
You know
before.
who is who, right? Like the first verse is Sideshow, the second verse is
yeah.
Bodhi. Okay, you checked it out. Yeah, Bodhi sounds like that all the time.
Both verses. I mean, I like both verses. Boldy's verse stood out to me on that record. I mean, I think Earl is MVP on the record, and there's a reason he's on there twice. But I really liked Boldy's record, Boldy's verse, and it was definitely like, oh, yeah, no, I should check this dude out. It's kind of my lane.
I walked away actually liking Sideshow's verse a little bit more.
I liked Sideshow's verse as well.
It was vivid to me. Like
it's very colorful. Like, yeah, no. I mean,
he's like rapping. I probably should pull up the lyrics to do it real justice, but he's rapping like real shit. It's like some real open wound raps. Like he's talking about real life situations. It's not glamorized. He don't get into like, yo, we was making money or we was trapping. He's like, yo, my homie, my best friend been locked up for 10 years eating TV dinners. Yeah. And maybe that's why the name of the track of that. But like, I was like, yo, that's some real Ghostface, impossible honesty type of track right there. You know, like I decided after I heard it that I was like, yo, I need to find out who he is because he's just dope.
Yeah, that first, you got killers, I'm a killer, you need a gun, I need a 3D printer, like that shit.
I mean, he got shit in here that's just like, yo, what has he said? Like, you wonder why, like, this is why I don't laugh at your jokes or some shit. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I really rock with it. I really rock with it.
Yeah. I won the most, like, can't you see we win as Judge tried to give our asses the most.
Why you think I never laugh at your jokes? And oftentimes I'm me mugging, you don't see me grinning. It was like a real kind of like, damn, man, life is difficult for some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I believed it too. It didn't come across as like some, you trapping, you trying to give me some Benny energy or some shit. I was just like, this is dope. Like, this is dope. I rock with him. Shout out to Sideshow. I'm going to follow it up. And Sideshow, like, I don't know, is he from... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he's from, but he sound like he West Coastin' or something. Or maybe I don't know. I'll fuck with it. too. What do you think about...
with the one thing with Boldy's verse, and it's funny because this is a really small thing, but there was that one line where it was like, the block's so hot, got the paint peeling off the walls. And that's such a like a vivid and like bleak and dark image. And I really, coming from a pretty poor part of South London, that kind of image of like austerity really did it for me. Like, that kind of bleak, urban hell, urban purgatory. Like, yeah.
My bad for hopping up. I got nervous. I didn't record earlier. I was like, watch me not be recording video. I don't know. I need to get my life together. But yeah, my life ain't never been that difficult like that, but I've been in places where it's like difficult like that, but I've always managed to kind of float along turbulently but gently. But I only appreciate those type of rap lyrics when I recognize or if I feel that there's a level of authenticity there,
sure,
and there's also not a level of like kind of promoting that type of promoting that type of mentality or promoting that type of lifestyle. Like I would like, I don't mind hearing Conway say his shit, but if Conway's like, yo, go get money the way I did it, I'm kind of like, see, Dolores Tucker was right. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't rock with it in that regard, because I feel like, you know, my thoughts on my political positions don't allow me to do that, but I fucking enjoy that.
Sure.
That's honest. That's honestly rap. Like, honesty rap for me. Where we at now? Holy Hell.
Track 3.
This is the track I care for the least on the project.
Likewise.
This is the track I care for the least.
I like Pink Sifu. Like, I might call myself a Pink Sifu fan. I'd probably call myself a Pink Sifu fan.
I see, but if I got that person that's like, we'll name 5 tracks, but I'd be like, you know what I mean? Name his last album. It's going to be difficult for me to do that because my brain just don't hold information like that. But I would say I'm a fan too. I like his music.
I mean, I would say because my homie Jordan, my best friend, put me on to Pink Sifu. He was like, yo, check this shit out. You might be into it. And like, usually when he recommends, like, Jordan doesn't usually miss when he recommends shit to me. You know, he was the one that got me into JPEG Mafia, and JPEG Mafia is one of my favorite musicians, like, maybe ever. I fucking love that dude. Pink Sifu, like,
one of the best hairlines in the game. One of the best hairlines in the game.
But he's bald now, but yeah.
Oh, is he bald?
He put out a track called Bald, like capital BALD exclamation mark.
Okay. He looked
samples,
like me, like how my shit was coming along. I'm about to do that too.
Samples Ridge Racer Type 4, and I'm mad because I sampled that track like 10 years ago when I first started making beats. Like, and yeah, now everybody's like in the comments of that same track, Move Me, Ridge Racer Type 4 soundtrack. People are like, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this track was cool. It was fine. I think it thematically kind of works with the rest of the record. I mean, one thing, you know, obviously it's only 4 tracks, but it's very cohesive. Everything conjures a similar kind of mood. It flows together very nicely as like one piece.
It's not a weak link. It's just a dislike for me. You know, I just didn't. I don't know. I was too hype about the Earl tracks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? All I wanted was more Earl.
It was fine. It was fine.
I don't even remember much of the lyrics, but I mean, both of them come right.
Yeah,
I feel like
everyone comes correct
both
on
of them
it.
come right. But like, they're all working within like a similar vein. So yeah, I enjoy it too. The beat is dope. The beat is hard, but yeah, I need to go back and listen to it. Like I said, I heard about this when it came out, but I didn't buy it from the website, so I didn't get the tracks. I heard Nobles it dropped first, and then when I heard Loose Change by Earl, like that song I played it on repeat for like the whole week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
Right.
They just didn't. The 2 middle tracks didn't get as much love from me. I don't know, man. I gotta say that like my favorite joint on this head like definitely is the last Earl track,
Loose Change.
And the reason I love it, man, is like Earl doesn't sound sedated on this. It doesn't, like, he's still rapping on some,
he's still slurring, kind of like playing with the rigidity of the beat,
right?
But yeah, he's having fun.
That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like he's got a bit of energy in his delivery. And he sounded like that off of the Black Oblivion track that came out last year, Morning, which was like dope, and it was going off. But the beat is more up tempo. The beat is more uplifted.
This is
hard. It sounded like an Action Bronson type of beat.
Yeah. This beat, I mean, I'm inclined to say this is my favorite beat on the record, even though it wasn't my favorite like overall track. It's kind of joyful and fun compared to the rest of the album, which comes very like almost mysterious. I don't want to say somber. I don't think that's the right word, but there's that kind of similar energy to like, something like house music that summons that kind of energy where it's like it feels good, but it's kind of dark at the same time. This one's a little more triumphant.
I don't know. Do you have any idea where that sample comes from, or like what type of? It feels like a television.
Like a Price is Right type deal.
It feels like he got it from like an old commercial or something. It reminds me of something. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons it speaks to me. Like,
sure,
it makes me want to keep hearing it, and it reminds me of something that I've heard in the past. But I think the biggest thing for me of this track is that I've been trying to pick apart kind of where Earl's going with this, and that's been one of my favorite things about Earl recently. Like his new writing is so poetic, and his use of I think I mentioned this before.
Yeah.
Like his use of refrains, just it feels like there's new context for lines all the time when I'm listening to it, and as I try to pick it apart, I don't know, like you hear like, all right, so I wrote a quote here. He says, "I was hungry. Mama made her son read, so I'm hunting glances at the peak," right?
Yeah.
So he's like, he's hunting glances at the peak, and he says, "It still didn't feed me. I had to get a feel for the whole thing." And like I'm like, wow. So is he saying like he's trying to? Earlier he talks about master teachers couldn't hold me.
Yeah.
So it's like he's this hunt for information. He was hungry for the information. His mom made him read. So now he's looking for glances at like exactly what is right, what is the thing, and it didn't feed him until he got a feel for the whole thing.
It almost feels like a more articulate, more mature version of that old like free Earl, like Samoan discipline retreat thing. This idea of like self-discovery and not really trying to, almost trying to figure out exactly where he stood in this whole thing, which I think is probably something that Earl is still kind of trying to make sense of. I don't want to like speculate on his personal life, but we're about, me and Earl are about the same age. I think I'm like a year or two older than him. I was like 17 when like all that Odd Future stuff came out, and that was something that really excited me at the time. And obviously now looking back, it's pretty juvenile, but at the same time, I think it did come from a place of like relatability as someone who's, even in my late 20s, I'm coming up on 30, but like I'm still kind of trying to make sense of who I am as a person in terms of my cultural and social and political identity.
Right.
And that's something I think that really comes through on this record. I will say, I don't really get the refrain on this record, and maybe this one just went over my head. The skin, copper, titties bouncing, save a generous slice for me.
Niggas is nickel and diamond.
That was dope. I mean, I liked that. Like, obviously you have that.
There's this
sort of
coin thing
going on.
The loose change, but like, what does it have to do with the titties and
right?
You know what I mean?
Maybe like a slice in the sense of like, give me a piece of the pie, like, where
save
is
a generous slice for me.
Right. This idea of almost a seat at the table. I don't think he's talking about this in terms of wealth accumulation, even though the money is the kind of predominant theme of the verse.
It's if it was wealth accumulation, it's almost antithetical to what his mom is saying, what he's saying earlier in the verse about like trying
reading
to find,
and
he mentions in that like he found a new route, reserve boundaries. I found a different route to explore and run deep. I told you about the region you found out and screamed that sounded like a loss to me.
Yeah.
And so it's like and I'm so bad at reciting those lyrics, as I'm just trying to speak in my own regular cadence, but I don't know, dog. Like this is the thing that I've been loving about Earl, is that it sounds so dense, and and I really feel as though he's taken into consideration the black radical tradition that he comes from his father's poetry,
from his father and his mother's
his
academia,
influence and his mother's academia, and I feel like, man, like to me this is the black radical tradition. This is taking hip hop, and then he's evolved so much from rapping to now every time he gets on there, I feel like, oh, it's raps, you know what I mean?
But it's a statement, like he's trying to
coming from a different place.
Yes.
Man, my wife had me watching this bullshit movie. I think it was done by the RZA, and it stars what is old shorty that always be getting in trouble in I forget who it starred, like who the name of the chick is, but it's like this coming of age tale where she's like an upcoming rapper, and then she goes to college and she goes to the poetry class. I think it's called like Beats in Life or something like that, right? But like the story is like, she's like, oh, I'm doing rap. You guys don't think that rapping is poetry, and they're trying to explain to her like this subtle difference between open honesty, authenticity, and just rapping tropes. And I feel like, like this is kind of a trajectory that Earl is on. He went from rapping and now he's in a different space. Like all of his lines in every single track I hear him on, even a fun one like the one that he was talking about like Nobles earlier, he still puts a different twist on it.
Yeah.
And it's always poetic symbolism
Sure.
when it comes to that. And I'm just waiting for him to be like really seize the means of production and really him be like, yo, like let's, you know what I mean, get really radical because I feel like I noticed this type of change when a couple years back off this song Balance, where he was like, I asked my mother, what do I owe this? And she was like, you don't owe it nothing. And then like, you know, all the things that happened in his life, the grief, depression, some rap songs, Feet of Clay, and this new trajectory.
I don't like shit. Yeah.
Where he's at now is he is my most exciting rapper that I want to hear content from right now, Earl.
This is the most excited I've been about Earl since I was 17.
Woo, we rapping double time over this shit. This shit like 30 minutes of us talking about it.
All right,
like
I really
fine,
need to use the bathroom, so
okay.
I'm happy
Let's
to
wrap
call
it up.
here.
Let's wrap it up, man. Shoot. These are not album reviews. These are hip hop conversations. This is the Secret House Against the World, located here in Tokyo Hip Hop Art and Culture. There's a variety of things that happen here. I'm always doing these joints with my brother Jet and my brother DJ L Spade. Please tune in, like, subscribe, smash the like button. All the details in the description, I guess. We good.
Yeah.
Yeah, peace, man.
Peace.
Oh, support local and independent art.
Also, like, one, fuck the alt-right. Two, you think it's
Mumia.
Free Mumia. You think it's bad, like, reciting hip-hop lyrics in your normal cadence? Try being British.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't be British. All right, man. Peace.